show is sponsored by HiveMind CRM. It is more than just a CRM. It is a real estate and business mastermind that comes with an all-in-one CRM. You can have unlimited websites and users. You can call, text, RVM, and email all in one user interface. And you can set up custom automations for any type and multiple businesses. 65% of companies start using a CRM system within the first 5 years of business. Once implemented, the HiveMind will save you on marketing, give you more time, and make more money. One of our users had his first $100,000 month using our system in June. We want to see you automate and accelerate your business. Text us at 210-972-1842 for future meetings, and of course to get our $1 course on how to make more than 6 figures on one land deal. You can schedule your free demo today at hivemindcrm.io.
Hi, this is Jordan Moorhead, and this is the Austin Real Estate Investing Podcast. Today I have Daniel Martinez here. Daniel, real quick, could you tell our guest who you are and how you're involved with real estate investing?
Sure. So my name is Daniel Martinez. I am out of California, but I do invest in Texas. I do a lot of stuff virtually. Mostly all my transactions are done in Texas. We do land real estate investing. We bought 100 acres last year in Texas and subdivided it into 10-acre lots. We're looking to do more of that this year. As far as I think that's all you asked me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Just how you're involved with real estate investing.
Yeah. I knew you asked me one more question, but I couldn't remember what it was. All right. So I do a couple things in real estate. So I have a software called HiveMind. We help people automate. It's a CRM business, help automate and accelerate their business. I have a data company called List Guys, provide data and skip tracing all over the US. And then we're starting a bunch of new businesses around real estate in general, but we have pretty much tools and services, and we're providing hot leads. Working on that right now. So just a lot of stuff coming up soon.
Awesome, man. So why did you choose to invest in Texas? I think that's something everybody's interested in. Why Texas? If you're in California, why come to Texas to invest?
I've been with my partner for about 3-4 years. He's out of San Antonio, and that's where he's kind of like the sales arm. Mm-hmm. So he drives across Texas to view land all over Texas, and he's just that type of person. So there's 2 different type of personalities in real estate, and usually you got to find a person that fits the other side of it. So I'm the back end. I handle a lot of the back end automation, software outreach, data management, client outreach, and stuff like that. And then my partner actually does the sales. So I actually go door knock to sellers. So I have the advantage of doing what I do virtually, and he has the advantage of being there in person to actually go belly to belly with these sellers.
That's awesome. Cool. So you've been doing this for a little while, it sounds like. What initially got you attracted to real estate investing?
It was out of necessity. So my first business that I started was actually trucking, and I was looking at a way to pivot into another business, and because trucking wasn't working for me, and I learned about real estate and kind of went down that path about 4 years ago now. Okay. It's just been interesting ever since.
So that's interesting. I want to talk about that for a second. So you were in trucking, like over the road trucking?
Yeah, over the road trucking. So I'm only 30 years old. I used to drive semi trucks for a company. Nice. And then when I wanted to go to entrepreneurship, I already had a CDL and I knew enough about trucking. I'm like, let me just do trucking because I already have the tools I need for this business. Mm-hmm. So I went down that road. I did that for 2 years. I think we generated $550,000 in revenue over 2 years.
Yeah.
And then pivoted into real estate after that.
So what caught your attention in real estate investing to pivot from truck? Because I mean, those are 2 really different things. Obviously, real estate investing, there are probably a lot of trucks bringing materials to job sites, transporting all the things needed to make real estate investing happen. But it's not something you would expect somebody to go from A to B there. What caught your attention in real estate?
I say this a lot, but it was when I was in trucking, I had a lot of times I would drive.
Yeah.
I used to listen to podcasts on YouTube. So when I was listening to podcasts on YouTube, I was looking for something to pivot into. And that's how I learned about real estate and wholesaling and all that stuff. And you kind of go down, once you learn about wholesaling, you kind of go to down the rabbit hole and you get stuck. So that's what happened to me.
That makes sense. I think that's how a lot of people find real estate investing. They stumble across a podcast or a YouTube video, and then they just go down, like you said, go down that rabbit hole. Because there is so many real estate podcasts. We're on a real estate podcast here now. We've been going for a little over 2 years, but there are so many real estate podcasts, and you'll just find I don't know how many YouTube videos about real estate, millions, I would say. It's either in the hundreds of thousands or the millions on the
Yeah.
YouTube videos. We have a big YouTube channel. We've got I think over 100 videos, and I haven't even been doing it that long. So there's so many on there. Awesome. So you've done a few deals. Do you guys mostly do wholesale then?
No, we don't. We hardly ever wholesale nowadays.
Okay.
We're usually just we buy and flip. So just like
Okay.
people buy and flip houses, we buy and flip land. That's our
Mhm.
strategy. So
Oh, okay. So you mentioned the 10-acre plots, but then that was all you did, or most of what you did.
yeah, that's mostly what we're looking for right now. We've come across like other properties. Like I'm working on, I want to build. I came across a land parcel in Atlanta that I'm trying to build the storage facility out of. So
Mm,
I'm working that right now as well. So there's different opportunity with land because you kind of have a blank slate. So depending on where it's at and the access and utilities that come with it, you can do. You have a lot of endless possibilities to go in the direction you want. But if
yeah.
it's like large land parcel, we usually just buying and subdividing. If it's smaller, we might look to do like a commercial building on it,
Mhm.
depending on where it's at and the car count. It just really depends on a lot.
Yeah, and the zoning too. Zoning is so important with the commercial there too. Zoning and what they'll allow you to build on it, I think is the biggest pieces there.
But
So
you can always do a variance too. So if you have
mhm,
a good like parcel that has good roundabout areas, you can always do a variance, which is the process of changing your zoning.
mhm. Awesome. I mean, that kind of leads me to my next question. So if somebody's looking for a deal like that, they're looking to do a land development deal. What's some advice you give to people to avoid getting caught in a tough situation and doing a bad deal?
There's a lot, just like real estate, man. It's very, very broad and niche specific. Like there's a lot of people that they'll find land, do entitlement work, and then sell it to developers. So they're not even doing the front end. They're not even doing the back end multi-million-dollar development. They just
Yeah.
find raw land, do the variance entitlements, and then sell the paperwork to an end developer, and the end developer will come do that part. Because there's so many different facets of the real estate business that
Mhm.
you just gotta find something you're good at, find a good niche, and just dig in.
Absolutely. So you're saying it's a lot easier just to entitle it and then pass it on to somebody else to do all the longer, harder work there.
Yeah, because I mean, it takes a lot of money.
Yeah.
So entitlements is just time. It does take some type of it does take a little bit of money, but it's less money than actually building the actual asset you're trying to build. So there's tons and tons of companies out there that will actually like, hey, I have 4 to 30 acres with utilities, city water. What can you do with this? So they'll come in, okay, if it's 4 to 30 acres, I can probably build 200 units on this property. It already has city sewer, so I can build an apartment building. So they'll come in, do a variance. Hey, can we get the zoned R7 or whatever multifamily is zoning for that county is? They'll get a zone for multifamily, and then they'll, hey, Mr. Developer, we have this 15 acres that can do 250 units based off the zoning. We already got a paperwork for it. Would you buy it for this amount? And then just go that way.
Yeah, that's smart. You take on a lot less of the risk doing it that way too.
Yep, 100%. And it's just doing paperwork.
A whole lot less of the risk. So what's something you tell a newer investor that might be looking to get into these land entitlement deals? Where do they
Um,
start?
I'm not even. Well, I don't even do land entitlement. I have an
Okay.
off-take partner that does that. We do
Okay.
farm and ranch. So that's the thing about land. So I have clients that do infill lots. What's
Mhm.
an infill lot? It's something in the city where there's a house, a lot, maybe another house, and another two houses, and then a vacant lot. So those are infill lots. So I have clients that do that. They'll buy and flip those to builders or people that want to build their home, whatever, to
Mhm.
end buyers. And then you have like you kind of go a little bit because there's like different versions of this. So I have like 4 to 30 acres in town that you can maybe do an entitlement variance type property, and then once you get out of town, right on the fringe, there's people that want to live outside the city, usually within 90 minutes from an airport, 60 minutes from a major city. That's where we play in. So we're looking for 50 acres to 1,000 acres, anywhere in there that we can subdivide and pretty much sell off. So Texas has a unique law where we can just subdivide as long as it's 10 acres or more. We can subdivide without having to do any like extra paperwork. We just have to
Yeah.
get a survey done. So
Yeah.
that's where we specialize at. So we're in that area. So, but we have off-take partners based. So whatever property you do bring to us.
Okay. Cool. I didn't know that. So yeah, that makes it really easy to just to subdivide that land and sell it off to people, and that's so much more common now too. I talk to so many different people that say, hey, we want to be right outside of town, we still want to be 60 minutes or 90 minutes from the airport, but we want our own land, we want our own space. They kind of want to have their little ranchette. So it makes a lot of sense that there's a huge market for that right now.
Yeah, and like I said, people just, I mean, the American dream is land freedom. So a lot of our buyers are immigrant buyers that can afford to pay cash, and usually with that, we're usually owner financing properties. And I think one of your next questions is, where do you want us to be, right?
Yeah.
So where do you want us to be is kind of answering the question. Is we want to be more into like the note side and banking side of it, because if we can get land, subdivide it, and create notes, that's where the side we want to be on. Is more essentially the bank note side of it, using land as leverage to build up that side.
Yeah. And just to simplify that for everybody listening, you want to buy the land and then finance it to somebody else who's the end buyer, and you're collecting payments over time and getting paid a fair interest rate for it. But anybody that's ever looked at an amortization schedule, when you bought your house and you see the amortization schedule and you see that you're actually paying what 3 to 4 times the price of the house by the time that loan is paid off. It's probably not 4 times, but I think
it's like right now it's probably like 2x. As interest
Yeah.
rates go up, it's going to go 2.5, 3x of what
Yeah.
you're going to the full amortize.
Exactly. But yeah, even that, you're paying double what you paid for the house over the life of the loan because you're paying so much in interest to the bank. So if Daniel gets a piece of land, we're going to keep it real simple. If Daniel gets a piece of land and sells it for $100,000, but on a seller finance note at 5% over 30 years, Daniel might actually collect $200,000 for that piece of land. And that's the magic of seller financing. People say, oh, why would a seller want to do that? That's exactly why they want to do that. And they're not paying tax on all that money at once. They're paying a kind of a trickle over however long they finance the deal for.
Yeah, it's you actually pay less taxes by doing an installment sale.
Mhm.
And the other advantage is that land isn't lendable. So if we become the bank, there's plenty of buyers that want to work with us versus not work with us.
Yeah.
To really position ourselves as the lender.
Yeah, that's smart. Like that. So those are the long-term goals, is just have a lot of notes paying you over time. And that's great passive income because you don't have to do anything. Not only is it land, so there's no maintenance, but you're not doing anything. They're paying you and you just collect the checks and foreclose on it if they don't pay.
Yeah, a lot of people in real estate, they're like, I want 1,000 doors or 200 doors. And I'm like, I just want cash flow. I don't even care how many doors I have. Like, it doesn't matter. Like cash flow is cash flow. It doesn't matter what form it comes in.
Yeah. And I think something else that I really think is interesting about owner finance deal is the foreclosure process is so quick and easy, and you keep all the money you made. So if they paid you 50 of that 100 grand and they just suddenly stop paying, you get to take the land back and keep their 50 grand.
It has to go through a different process, because if you as the lender, you still have to do a notice of sale to the county to sell off that property, and then if nobody buys, you can essentially, if there's an overage and somebody buys that property, you just get whatever's owed to you. You can't keep that money legally. So it's a different process.
Really? With land, it's different? That's just in general.
It's the same thing with all mortgages. So if somebody forecloses and loses their property, they can only, whoever the lender is, can only collect what that property is owed to them through the amortized schedule. That's it.
Okay.
All the rest, if it sells at auction, let's say they have $100,000 property, they pay down 40,000, the lender's owed 60. If it goes to auction and sells for 80, the lender gets 60. The whoever bought it, they paid 80. That 20 actually goes as an overage to the state, which eventually goes back to the original owner that bought it. And then the person that bought it at the auction gets that 20,000 in equity.
Nice. I had always heard that it was easy to the foreclosure process on a seller finance note, and I've bought with seller financing, but I've never been foreclosed on, luckily, with seller financing. But I was always heard that you got to keep what was paid to you and you just got to take the land back. I must have been missing on it.
You have to still do the notice of sale. If nobody buys it, then you have the opportunity to buy it yourself back and get the property back. but you still have to do a notice of sale where if somebody doesn't buy it, then you have the opportunity to buy it yourself. But you still have to go through that process.
Sure. So
Where anybody could buy it technically.
just a little more complicated. It's more like a normal foreclosure sale than people like to lead you to believe. Then it sounds like.
Yeah.
Awesome. So Daniel, do you have a favorite business or mindset book that you like to read and recommend to people?
I'm not really.
Lots of podcasts.
Yeah, I'm not really a reader. I do have a business book. I like Traction. Traction is a good one just because it helps you understand your roles in business and what roles you should take and what roles you shouldn't take.
Okay, yeah, Traction is a great book. And Traction by Gino Wickman. There's like a whole series around that book too. There's Understanding EOS for the Employee. There's Rocket Fuel, I want to say, has something to do with that. There's a bunch of them. If you look up Traction by Gino Wickman, or you just look up Gino Wickman, you're going to find a bunch of good stuff on that.
Yeah.
All right, Daniel, how can people get a hold of you or reach out to you if they want some more information about what you're doing at HiveMind?
Yeah, so we're HiveMind CRM on all platforms: Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We provide a lot of content towards that. We've been extra on the content. We've been in YouTube for a year and a half. We've done like almost 1,000 videos. So we've been posting a video every day since April 2021.
Wow.
It's been pretty crazy.
Yeah.
It's been a lot. We have a podcast called Hive With Us Podcast Network. We're on all platforms with that. And then if you have a big land deal you want to submit to us, you can submit it at submitbigland.com.
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 I like it. All right, Daniel, most important question we ask here on the podcast is, what's your favorite restaurant in Austin?
So I like Fogo de Chao. So I went in there with my partner. We had to go to an event there, and we went to Fogo de Chao, and the capraheñas are really good, and of course the steak's good.
Oh yeah, they just keep slicing it. You can't keep up sometimes.
I can keep up.
I couldn't quite keep up with them. They're pretty quick.
They're pretty quick.
The show is sponsored by The List Guys. Do you need more leads in your local or virtual market? 1 in 10 small businesses don't invest in any kind of marketing. The List Guys have over 35 plus list types to choose from, and you can mix and match any list or criteria. We also use the skip trace list and provide up to 7 numbers and email addresses. Every list you purchase will be scrubbed against previous purchases. The List Guys are here to save you time. Contact the List Guys today at www.onelistguys.com. That's www.1listguys.com.
Thank you so much for coming on here today, Daniel. And anybody interested, HiveMind or submitbiglanddeal.com. If you've got a big land deal to submit.
Yeah, it's HiveMindCRM.io. That's our website.
HiveMind. And then we'll have all this in the show notes for everybody too. But HiveMindCRM.io and submitbiglanddeal.com. I like it.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Daniel. Thanks for coming on. We'll talk to you here soon.